Let's continue on with our games of odds and evens. So the first thing we want to do is, let's say we want to continue playing this game for 5 times. We can add a simple for loop here and count as 0, count as less than 5, do count plus plus. Now we're using a for loop because we know how many times we want to play, in this case 5. And one thing I'd want to do is increment all these indentations so that our code is nice and readable. Save it again. Go back here, compile it. Odds evens.java. We run it, and we get even wins 5 times. Well, that's not really exciting now, is it? That's just because it just repeats this body of code over and over again. So let's change things up a bit. Let's take in input every single time. So we would need our scanner again. First thing we do is import it. Import java.util.scanner. We create the variable, call it keyboard. And now instead of populating num A and num B here, let's do it inside the loop body. Just going to move it from here, put it in here. It's really important to have your code nicely indented so that it's easier to read and understand, especially if other people are going to be reading it in the future. Okay, and now what we don't want to do is hard code it like this. We want to take it from our console. So scanner.nextInt. Okay, and we can even print these out. So let's just do system num A equals plus num A. Same thing for num B. And then we can even do the sum. And now we will know that the difference is every single time. So let's try this again. We compile it. We get a couple errors. And that's because we're doing scanner.nextInt. We're supposed to have this change to keyboard. Now this here is a perfect example of why I like to use Notepad++ or a simple text editor when getting started with programming. It's because we don't catch errors like these right away. We have to we use the debugger, or rather the error messages printed from the compiler to fix our errors. But if we use an IDE, these messages will be given to us automatically, and we will lose this skill. So this is a personal preference, the way I like to teach and learn. Let's compile it again. Okay, so it compiles. We run it. Now it's actually waiting for the numbers. Once again, I have my trusted D20s. Just going to roll them both and see what we get. So our num A is 13. Our num B is 12. So the odds win. Let's do it again. We have 9 and 12 again. This time the odds win again. We have 6, 13. Odds win. Wow, the odds just keep on winning. Okay, so we have 17 and 19. So the evens win this time. And here we go, we have 10 and 18. And the evens win again. At this point, we have the for loop hard-coded here as 5, meaning the user can only play the game 5 times. Now, if we want to change it to something, giving a user some kind of conditional where they can say how many times they want to play, we can do that as well. And the way we would do this is create some kind of variable, and let's call it turns equals keyboard.next int. And what this is going to request the user is how many times do you want to play. So we just give this a nice message. And every time we print these messages here, or rather we wait for input here, it's kind of odd because there's no prompt message. We don't know what we're waiting for. So let's just put in nice messages here too. Print. Same thing for num b. Now notice here I have, rather some, I can highlight it this way. I have print instead of print ln like I've normally been using. And what that does, it doesn't print a new line character at the end of the string. So let's try this. Wait, we forgot one thing, is our condition should not be less than 5 anymore. It should be less than the number of turns. So once again, we compile, we run it. How many times do we want to play? Let's just say 3. Enter a value for num a. I'm just gonna set rolling. I'm gonna do it simply, and here we played it 3 times. Another way we can change this is instead of having the user put in the number of turns they want to play at the beginning of the game, we can just ask them at the end of the turn, do they want to continue playing? We would do that is, we get rid of this, we don't need this anymore. We would need a Boolean value, so let's just say, call it done, initialize it to false. Since we don't know how many times we are playing, we have to use a while loop, or rather we can use a while loop while we're not done. And we're going to prompt the user is at the end of the turn, do you want to continue playing? So print a nice message to play again. Instead of print ln, we do print, just a simple print, and then we do int response equals keyboard next int. Okay, and we want to give the user some kind of hint. So let's just say 1 equals yes, 2 equals no. We are working with only integer input here. We can use scanner to use string input, but for now let's just keep it simple and work with integer inputs. Okay, so what it says here is if it's 1 they want to play again, if it's 2 they don't want to continue. Then we want to do is have an if statement here. So if response is equal to 2, then our done is true, or else done is not true. Now what this is actually doing is if the input is 2, then we are done. Otherwise, whatever the input is, it'll continue playing because we have an else here. So let's just do here. We have an error. Let's just say you have an error on line 32, and that's because we misspelled the word response. Oh, we forgot to take out that prompt message, but that's okay. Enter value for num a. So screen wins. Do you want to play again? So let's try putting in something else. 98 for some reason. It plays again. We play again. Do you want to play in again? Press N2 this time, and the program exits. So we can play around with these things, put up an end condition however we like it. I've given you 2-3 examples here, and based on what you're programming, based on what you're designing, you may have your own end conditions. So this is what we have so far. We have our odds and evens game where we can prompt the user for the actual input. We can actually ask them how many times they want to play or put an end condition to the game. In the next tutorial, we will be going over 1D and 2D arrays, one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays, and we will be starting off a new game of tic-tac-toe. So until next time, this has been Zan from Zan's Gaming and Java Games Programming. Thank you.